Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to do something actually really fascinating. We're taking the Constitution of the Republic of Albania, and, well, we're not treating it like some dusty, dense legal document. No way. We're looking at it as the architectural blueprint of a state. Think of it like the ultimate operating system running an entire country. We're going to decode exactly how power is built, shared, and balanced.
Right at the very beginning, in the preamble, we hit this incredibly powerful opening statement. It literally sets the tone for everything else. It cements a core concept found in Article 2, which is that sovereignty belongs entirely to the people. You exercise this power either directly or through your representatives. So this entire document, it's essentially your user manual as a citizen.
To demystify this dense text, we're breaking it down into 5 clear chapters: the foundation, the lawmakers, the executive, checks and balances, and local governance.
Let's kick things off with Chapter 1, the Foundation, Principles and Rights.
So, Articles 1 through 14 lay down the absolute foundational rules of the House. They establish Albania as a parliamentary republic and a unitary, indivisible state. What's really striking here is the explicit mention of neutrality. The state is completely secular, meaning it doesn't have an official religion, and it guarantees religious equality and freedom of expression in public life. It also strictly protects an economy based on both private and public property, all while making sure local power stays decentralized. It's a very modern framework designed to balance national unity with your individual freedoms. But a blueprint is absolutely nothing without the people who actually live inside it. The Constitution strictly protects your personal, political, and economic freedoms. These rights are declared indivisible, inalienable, and inviolable, basically untouchable. At age 18, you gain the fundamental right to vote. On top of that, everyone is guaranteed freedom of expression, freedom of the press, the right to property, and equal protection under the law without any unjust discrimination.
Now, to make sure these rights aren't just, empty words on a piece of paper, the Constitution creates a very specific, highly protected role. Enter the avocati I popult, the people's advocate or the ombudsman. This isn't just your average government employee. This official is elected by a really tough 3/5 majority of parliament for a 5-year term, and they operate completely independently, even having their own budget. They're basically your direct defender against any illegal or irregular actions by the state.
Moving right along to Chapter 2, the lawmakers. Kuvendi, the voice of the people. The Albanian parliament is made up of exactly 140 deputies, and they're elected every 4 years. This brings us to a massive democratic principle tucked into Article 70. These deputies represent the people, and they are not bound by any mandatory mandate. That means once they're elected, their primary absolute duty is to you, the citizens, not just to party bosses or special interest groups. Okay, so how does an idea actually turn into a law in this system? Well, the legislative machinery is incredibly structured. A proposal can come from the Council of Ministers, from any member of parliament, and get this, it's a fantastic feature of direct democracy. It can even be proposed by 20,000 everyday voters. Once it's proposed, the bill has to survive 3 rounds of voting in parliament, then the president has 20 days to promulgate it, and it officially becomes law 15 days after being published in the official gazette.
Next up is Chapter 3, the executive, president, and government.
It is absolutely crucial to understand this division of power if you want to grasp how the state actually functions. You've got the president of the republic acting as the head of state. They're a unifying, politically neutral figurehead who literally cannot be part of any political party while in office, and they command the armed forces. On the flip side, the prime minister is the head of government. They represent the ruling political majority, they're the ones driving the daily state policies, and they oversee the council of ministers. The Constitution actually goes to really great lengths to make sure the president is a unifying figure. Because they have to represent national unity, electing them isn't just some simple majority vote in parliament. It can involve up to 5 rigorous rounds. The first 3 rounds demand a tough 3/5 consensus of all members. If they still can't agree, the threshold drops to an absolute majority for rounds 4 and 5. And if parliament still can't pick a president after all 5 rounds, the assembly is dissolved and the whole country goes to early elections. It's a brilliant way to force lawmakers to compromise. And while the prime minister wields the immense power of driving state policy, the Constitution makes sure they can never just operate unchecked. Parliament actually holds an ultimate kill switch. A 1/5 of the deputies can propose a motion of no confidence. If an absolute majority votes for it, while simultaneously electing a brand new prime minister, the current government is out. The executive branch is entirely tethered to the will of the legislature.
Which leads us perfectly into Chapter 4, Checks and Balances, Courts.
Meet the Constitutional Court. This is the body that gets the final say on interpreting the supreme law of the land. It's made up of 9 members serving 9-year terms, and honestly, it is a perfect example of balanced power in action. 3 members are appointed by the president, 3 are elected by parliament, and 3 are chosen by the High Court. That means no single branch can pack the court or dictate its makeup. It's perfectly balanced.
Now, beyond the Constitutional Court, the wider judicial framework spans from the High Court all the way down to local appellate and first instance courts. But arguably, the most fascinating addition here is the explicit mandate for special courts. These are designed specifically to tackle high-level corruption and organized crime, and they have jurisdiction over even the top officials. We're talking the president, the prime minister, and members of parliament. Talk about a built-in mechanism for ultimate accountability.
And finally, Chapter 5, Local Governance, Decentralized Power. This basically means the state operates much closer to your daily life than you might realize. Municipalities, or bashkite, serve as entirely autonomous local governments. They're not just branch offices for the folks in the capital. They have their own independent budgets, they can levy local taxes, and they are run by councils and mayors who are elected directly by you, the local residents. So, as we wrap up this explainer, we return right back to where we started. The Albanian constitution isn't just some historical text sitting in an archive. It's an active, living operating system, and it relies entirely on you, the citizen, to make it work, whether that's by voting, proposing laws, or holding your leaders accountable. So the ultimate question it leaves us with is this. Now that you know exactly how the blueprint works, how are you going to use your guaranteed rights to shape the future of the Republic? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep learning.